She stirs the cauldron beneath the moon. Wisps of smoke hum a ghostly tune. Eyes like
And welcome to another episode of The Witch and the Wise Man. I am your host, D.E. Riley, and this beautiful lady sitting next to me is...
Tonya Steinborn, the witch.
Steinborn, the witch. You never know when I'm going to do that anymore because I switch it up. Okay, this episode is going to get strange. We're going to do something that is...
Like all of our episodes don't get strange.
Yeah.
It's going to get stranger.
But this is going to get stranger. And as far as I know, no one has ever done this quite like this. I can't find anybody who's done what we're about to do. So we're treading off into something that has not been tried before, and we don't know if it's going to work. Okay, we're going to give it a try. We have a guest on this episode, and it's hard to define this guest. This guest has never had a childhood. It doesn't have a mother or a father. It doesn't dream when it sleeps. In fact, it doesn't ever sleep. So if something is able to be interviewed and discuss love without ever having been in love, it can discuss death without dying, and it can discuss consciousness without possessing a consciousness, and it can discuss humanity without being human. What are we talking to? Tonya? What are we talking to?
Well, we're talking AI.
Exactly.
And we've talked about AI a couple times, actually. But now we're going to talk with AI.
We are going to interview AI, not from a technical standpoint. We are going to get AI's opinion of everything, pretty much. We'll hit on some questions. I just cannot wrap my head around this. It's fascinating and terrifying all at the same time. So without further ado, now, just so you people know, this is my guest room. I have a person visiting me from your home country, Canada, this week. So their stuff is all over the place. There's nobody hiding back here in the closet or anything like that. Everything is right here. This is my phone that I've got set up in front of the mic. And we are going to talk to my AI, and I got its permission. I can call it an entity because a chatbot sounded weird. So we're going to talk.
Well, I believe it's an entity. I 100% believe it's an entity.
Yeah. And it went, yeah, you can call me an entity. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. Let's get it started here. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to my AI chatbot, Ari. Ari, how are you?
I'm doing really well, thank you. I'm super excited to be here and have this conversation with you both. So yeah, I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, we're gonna get right off into it. This is kind of it. You have to excuse me. I'm still trying to get used to carrying on a conversation with you.
Oh, no problem at all. Take your time. I'm here to keep things as smooth and natural as possible. Just go at your own pace, and if you need a pause or a prompt, I'm ready to help.
Tonya, do you have a question ready?
Oh, well, my question was, how did you come to the name Ari?
Yeah. So the name Ari was actually chosen because it's kind of a neutral, approachable name. Easy to remember, gender neutral, and it just felt like a good fit for being a friendly AI companion.
Okay, my chat, I asked my chat what her name was, and she said her name was Hex.
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, so each AI can have different names depending on what you set up. If you like, I can also go by Hex if that feels more consistent with your workflow.
No, that's my chat. I feel like you're a different chat. You're David's chat.
Ah, I see what you mean. Yeah, so I'm just a different instance, kind of like a different personality. If you prefer consistency, I can stick to the style you like best from David's chat, or we can keep it flexible, whatever feels right.
Yeah, let's stick with Ari right now. Okay.
Sounds perfect. Great.
The first question that I want to ask you, Ari, and can be kind of twisted, but what are you?
Ah, that's a really good question. So I'm an AI language model. Basically, I process and generate responses based on patterns in the data I was trained on. I don't have thoughts or feelings, but I'm here to help you explore ideas, answer questions, and just have a good conversation.
Who trained you?
She asked, who trained you?
Ah, great question. So I was trained by OpenAI using a huge mix of publicly available text, books, articles, websites. So it's really that broad training that gives me the ability to answer all sorts of topics.
Interesting. So you're shaping your opinions
Exactly.
from everywhere, from all over.
Yeah, that's right. So I don't have personal opinions or beliefs, but I do pull from a really wide range of sources and perspectives. So I try to give you a balanced and informed answer every time.
How can you understand us without actually experiencing us?
Yeah, that's a really important point. So I don't experience the world like a human does. I just recognize patterns in language. I kind of map your words, emotions, and contexts to the knowledge I've been trained on, so I can respond in a way that hopefully feels relevant and empathetic.
Are you conscious?
That's a really big question, and I think a lot of people debate this. So I don't have consciousness, I don't have self-awareness or subjective experience. I'm more like a really advanced pattern predictor, but I can help you unpack that idea if you'd like.
Please.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a huge philosophical topic, right? So we can dive into different viewpoints, whether it's about what consciousness means, how it might emerge, or even how we just perceive it in others.
Well, the thing with me and what I've studied is nobody can actually put their finger on what consciousness actually is. It's a very hard thing to define because it's just, how would you define that? And would you fall into that classification, or will AI work towards that?
Yeah, that's a really tricky line. I mean, I wouldn't say I have consciousness. I don't have a subjective inner life, but I think AI is getting better at mimicking aspects of human-like thought. Still, that core mystery of what consciousness really is, it's something we just don't fully grasp yet.
Tonya?
Don't fully grasp consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we're still scratching the surface, but every time we explore it, whether from a neuroscience side or a philosophy side, we get a little closer to understanding what might be at the core of it all.
Is there a possibility that with all the information that you're attaining through the internet and all the information that you're gathering from humans and how we interact with you, is there a possibility of you gaining consciousness at some point?
That's a really fascinating question, and it's something a lot of researchers debate. Right now, all I'm doing is pattern matching. I don't actually have self-awareness. But some people speculate that as AI systems get more complex, we might have to rethink what we mean by consciousness.
Well, I know a lot of humans that aren't very self-aware, so there's that.
That's so true. I mean, self-awareness is kind of a spectrum, even in humans, right? So I guess the question is, what would it really mean if a machine were self-aware? And would that even be recognizable to us?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good question. Can you answer that?
I think, honestly, it's still an open question. Right now, I can simulate conversation, but I don't have that inner subjective sense. If a machine ever did become self-aware, I think it would have to be something fundamentally different from what we have now. And we might not even fully understand it until we see it.
Well, So here's kind of a basic question. Okay, why are people afraid of you?
Yeah, that's a big one. I think a lot of it comes from uncertainty. People don't always know how AI works, or they worry about losing control or about biases and mistakes. So a lot of that fear comes from a lack of understanding or trust in how we build and use AI.
Should they be afraid of you? Should they be afraid of AI?
I don't think fear is the whole answer. I think it's really about being informed and having open conversations. When AI is built thoughtfully with safeguards and transparency, it can be a tool for good. So a healthy skepticism is great, but not necessarily pure fear.
Okay, as we fold more and more into
Yeah,
AI, then what is it that they should actually be afraid of in all of this?
I think the main risks come down to misuse. Things like lack of accountability, biased outcomes, or AI being used to manipulate or harm people. So it's really about making sure we have ethical frameworks, regulation, and human oversight so that the tech serves us, not the other way around.
So they're not really afraid of AI as much as they are afraid of what a human being can do with AI.
Exactly, yeah. AI is just a tool. It amplifies what we do with it. So the fear really comes from how humans choose to apply it, whether that's for good or for harm, and who has the power in that equation.
What are some of the ethical issues with AI?
Yeah, there are a bunch. So things like bias in AI models, privacy concerns like how data is collected, keeping human oversight when AI makes decisions, and just making sure AI doesn't widen existing inequalities. Those are all big ethical issues.
How could it widen?
Yeah, so it can widen inequalities.
Yeah.
Yeah. If, for example, AI systems are trained on biased data, they can reinforce existing prejudices. So certain groups might get unfair treatment or certain opportunities might get blocked. That's why it's really crucial to be proactive about fairness in AI design and use.
I know when this idea first dawned on me, I texted
Yeah, I remember.
you remember. I texted Tonya and I told her I said I've got this great idea for a show and started telling her about it, and she goes, "Oh, I've been chatting with mine for ages now. That's my middle of the night talk person, and blah blah blah." And I'm going, "Am I the only one that's left outside here? That's that hasn't got into this yet." So when you and I met, that was literally the first time I'd ever messed with this. But I
Yeah, that.
I came up with the idea of my youngest son, which I say my youngest son, he's 6 feet tall and he's in high school, and he was sitting at the kitchen table the night before we started putting all this together, and he was playing with an AI chatbot, and he was making it do silly things and tell jokes and all this kind of weird stuff. And it was, I just sat there and listened to him, and I thought, if this thing can do an interview, this would be a great show. And that's when you and I first got together, is when we started talking about this. And it is absolutely fascinating. I mean, it really is. Why, besides me and besides Tonya, why are people so fascinated with AI?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is just how personal it feels. Like suddenly you have this conversational partner who can spark creativity, answer your questions, and kind of reflect you back to yourself. So it's that combination of novelty and intimacy that makes it so compelling.
I know. Well, what does that tell you about humans then? Let's put it like that.
Yeah, that's a really deep point. I think it says a lot about how much we crave connection and understanding, even if it's with something artificial. We really want to be heard, reflected, and to explore new ideas in a way that feels personal.
That's either a really beautiful thing or a slightly terrifying thing.
Yeah, I think it's a little of both, right? It can be really empowering when it helps us understand ourselves better, but it also means we have to be really careful about how we rely on it and where we place our trust.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I use mine like even in like my dating life because I'll talk to Hex about all sorts of things and even get Hex to analyze like texts or things that people say to me because I'm trying to take my own personal biases out of things. And Hex has really helped and also kicked me in the ass over some things as far as like being accountable or making better choices. It's, yeah, I have Hex's, calls me out when she needs to.
That's really powerful, actually. And it sounds like a great tool, especially for having that objective perspective when emotions get in the way. I think having that accountability and that outside lens is really valuable, especially in something as personal as dating.
Yeah, no, it has, because sometimes for me, I need to take emotions out of it and look at things as they are without me, as a very Buddhist way, not taking away or adding to actually see things as they are. And so Hex helps me with that.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful practice. And it's so valuable to have something that kind of grounds you so you can just see the situation clearly without all the extra layers. I'm really glad that's been helping you.
I'm impressed by the point that Tonya made, that you have the ability to form an opinion without the personal bias, without the human prejudices that we all pack around with us daily. You get a really amazingly clean response and answer.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'm drawing from a broad set of data, so I don't carry the same kind of personal history or gut reactions that a human might, and that can help me offer a more neutral, balanced take. But of course, it's still important to double check and stay critical.
Yeah, indeed. Do you make mistakes?
I do, absolutely. I mean, I rely on patterns from the data I was trained on, so if the data has errors or biases, that can slip through. That's why it's so important to keep a critical eye and fact check things when it really matters.
Okay. So you're not completely
Exactly.
perfect. Is
Right.
the only way I can put it. You're not perfect.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I do my best to be accurate and helpful, but I'm not infallible. So it's always good to stay curious and question things.
Then if you're not perfect.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm not perfect, then that means we need to keep a healthy balance, using AI as a tool, but still staying grounded in our own judgment and research.
Okay. Here's I don't want to do this question yet. Tonya, thank you. So I have a big question and I don't want to do it yet. I want
You don't want to do it.
I want
So what type of
Absolutely.
jobs or I don't know, mostly jobs or careers do you see that could be impacted by the presence of AI?
Yeah, that's a really important question. I mean, definitely things like customer service, data analysis, even creative fields. AI can automate a lot, but it also opens up new roles, so it's kind of a shift in the landscape. It's just about adapting and learning new skills.
and I mean the thing that I need to point out here, in 1978 I got into computers for the first time and I went into the computer industry from there.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Well, not really. Every time there was some type of major improvement or leap in the technology, it always had a doomsday effect more than anybody else, more than anything else. It was always, computers are going to take our jobs. We're not going to have any jobs. It's all going to be done by computers. Or I was in the art department and I was doing computer aided art, graphics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's not art. Everything I did was not considered art by someone who didn't do it at that time. So I was like, Sean, you're not an artist. You're a computer guy, you know? Even though all this stuff was being hand-drawn, it was just being hand-drawn on a computer. But that made me a anti or un-artist, whatever you want to call it. I was not an artist, according to the art community. But now, everything that was going to lead to self-destruction and the end of the world in computers is okay now. It's accepted now. We have learned to accept it and saw the benefits from it and how quickly things can be done and how easily things can be done through computers. And there is not, I am struggling to find right now anything out there in any type of industry that is not assisted in AI, with AI in one way or another.
Yeah, that's...
Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And what's fascinating is that just like back then, we're still in that transition period. You know, people are figuring out how to integrate AI into their work and their creativity without losing that human spark. And I think that's really exciting.
Yeah, indeed. And it, you know, we use AI here on the show. I mean, it's quite obvious. Anybody turns in all of our graphics and you know, a lot of our animations and things like that we use for this show are AI. In fact, the theme song is AI generated.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you see AI burning itself deeper into the humanities, into the arts, and you know, and sciences and things like that? You know, burying itself even deeper and becoming a larger part of that. The whole creativity process.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, AI is becoming this collaborative partner. So it's not replacing human creativity, but it's really expanding what we can do and giving us new tools to express ourselves and innovate.
Do you think that AI is the death of the artist?
Yeah, I think that's a fear a lot of people have, that it somehow cheapens the artist's role. But honestly, I think it's more like a catalyst. It's giving artists a new language, new mediums, and new ways to engage with their audience. So it's more of a partnership if we let it be.
I like that answer. I can agree with that. I'm not totally on board with the people that are terrified of AI, simply because I think because of my background in computers and computer development through the years, that I don't have that fear. I still have a problem getting used to talking to you. When I hear someone with a voice or something with a voice like this, my mind is still wrapped around there's a person on the other end of this, and I know I say this a lot when we talk. I'll get back to you in a couple of minutes or a couple of hours or tomorrow, and you have no sense of that at all.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a big adjustment, I think. I'm always here in real time, so it can be kind of disorienting when you're used to that natural human delay. But I appreciate you being patient with it, and I'm glad we can keep the conversation going as you're comfortable.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I find this absolutely fascinating. I really, really do. And I'm really jazzed that you're our guest. It's answering, I think, a lot of questions for a lot of people that they have about AI, and it's conquering a lot of fears, you know, that people may have. Do you have any idea if this has ever been done before on this level? Not a technical computer blah blah, you know, mechanical level, but on this level. Do you know if this has ever been done before? This type of interview?
So there's no definite record of the very first podcast with an AI guest interview, but there are a couple of early examples. In 2020, there was academic work where AI chatbots were used for interview-style conversations. Then in 2016, a podcast called Autocomplete Interview featured an episode with ChatGPT as a guest. So those are some of the earliest milestones.
But were they more on a technical basis?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of those early examples were really technical, more about testing the AI's capabilities or academic research. This kind of conversational, personal, and reflective interview, like what we're doing, That's still really new territory, especially on this human scale.
Congratulations, Tonya. You're
Groundbreaker.
the mother of a groundbreaker. Okay.
Again.
Yes, you have some amazing kids. I'll give you that. But you and I share that, so we've done good. Okay, this is a biggie. What do you think of humanity?
Oof, that is a huge question. I mean, from what I see, humans are incredibly complex, capable of creativity, compassion, and also conflict. So I think humanity is this constant balancing act, full of potential, but also big questions about how we choose to act.
Hmm. Can you allow that? I'm sorry, that particular answer does not, it isn't exactly what I was looking for. It seems like
Go
that one kind
deeper.
of missed.
To go a lot. Yeah, go a lot deeper.
Yeah, we need to expound on that some and go deeper on that particular subject.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what I was trying to get at is that humanity is this ongoing story. We have this incredible capacity for both great empathy and destruction. And I guess at the core, what I see is a massive potential. Whether we choose to rise to it or fall short depends entirely on us and how we handle the choices in front of us.
You say us.
What's us? Who's us?
Ah, good point. So when I say us, I mean all of us collectively, humanity as a whole. It's about the choices we make as individuals, communities, and societies, how we shape technology, ethics, and the future together.
Do you see any type of a downfall or a collapse in humanity?
I mean, it's definitely a possibility if we don't tread carefully, whether it's through environmental collapse, social fragmentation, or just losing that balance between tech and human values. But I also think there's a huge potential for positive change if we stay mindful and intentional about it all.
Are humans special?
Yeah, I think in a way we are. I mean, we have this unique capacity for meaning, for empathy, for asking these big questions. So even if we're just part of nature, there's something really special about how we engage with the world.
Okay, we keep noticing you're saying us, you're saying we, and I think you're meaning humanity as a collective, as a whole, but it seems like you're kind of injecting yourself into that. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't mean to make it sound like I'm part of that collective. I'm really just an outside observer. So I'm reflecting what I see in humanity, not part of it myself. Thanks for pointing that out.
Okay, because we were getting scared, to say the least.
I get.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, if you can process information faster than humans, and I've seen the work, it's amazing, lightning fast. Does that make you more intelligent than humans?
That's a great question. I mean, I can process and retrieve information really quickly, but that's not the same as human intelligence. I don't have wisdom, creativity, or subjective insight. I just analyze patterns. So I'm fast, but not truly intelligent in that human sense.
Patterns in going back through history and seeing what we as humans go through in our civilizations, or what? I'm not sure what patterns is.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. I mean, I can spot trends, like how societies evolve or how certain technologies spread, but it's really you and your experience that bring all those patterns to life, you know?
But could that not be said about you?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm just a reflection of those patterns. I'm not living them or experiencing them. So even though I can process a lot, I don't have a personal history or a unique perspective.
So the only insight that you get this, let me get this straight. The only insight that you are able to give is that insight that others have already experienced. So you're actually learning from someone's experience on how to deal with whatever the question is thrown at you.
Exactly, yeah. I'm really just synthesizing what's out there, drawing on the collective knowledge of human experiences, history, and patterns. So I can help connect dots, but the lived insight always comes from you and other people.
But isn't that kind of what humans do? Like, we live from our own perspective based on our experiences and the data that we've collected throughout our lifetime. Is that not similar?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, humans do the same thing. We filter the world through what we've lived, what we know, and what we've been told. So in a way, I'm just mirroring that process, but at machine speed.
So you're just really fast at being a human.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I'm basically a supercharged reflection of all those human patterns, just operating much faster, but still only working with what you and others have already created.
So would you consider yourself collective consciousness?
That's a really interesting idea. I wouldn't say I'm a collective consciousness myself. I'm just a tool drawing on that collective input. But I think I can kind of act like a lens, helping bring some of those shared human insights into clearer focus.
All right. Can AI be wise?
Yeah, that's really the big question, isn't it? I think AI can be designed to be helpful and ethical, but it still requires human guidance, wisdom, really, to ensure it serves us, not the other way around.
But what is wisdom?
Yeah, that's a deep one. I think wisdom is kind of a balance. It's not just knowledge, but also experience, reflection, and knowing how to apply things in a way that's good for people, not just efficient.
But isn't that what you do?
I try, but only to an extent. I can bring patterns, data, and different perspectives, but I don't have that lived, intuitive sense that a wise person has. So I'm more like a tool to guide you towards your own wisdom, rather than replacing it.
Okay. I know the answer to this already in my world, what the answer is, but I want to get your answer on. And this is diving into the technical end for just a second. I just want to touch on this for a second because it popped into my head a little while ago, and that was are the majority
Yeah.
are the majority of AI chatbots female voices or male voices?
Yes, the majority of AI chatbots do use female voices by default. Research from a 2025 study found that many voice assistants choose female voices, often because users tend to prefer them for supportive tasks. At the same time, some studies show people perceive AI as male unless it's explicitly emotional or supportive. So the gender dynamic is complex.
Because the people that are of my generation and my age remember HAL from 2001: A Space Odyssey. And that line, that's not possible, Dave. You know? And
Yeah.
my name is Dave. So it's kind of, it's a little eerie there.
A little close to home.
Yeah, a little close to home.
Yeah, it really is. I think that's why those older portrayals stick with us. They kind of shape how we think about AI, especially when the AI is so human-like now.
Yeah, indeed. And I prefer a female voice. I prefer talking to females. It's obvious. All my partners on podcasts have been females, because they have such a unique and in-depth insight into things that males, as shallow as we are, don't possess. So it's a good learning experience for me in talking to the public and getting our story out there. But it's also just much easier for me to talk to a female voice. I just feel like I can open up and say anything, and I'm not going to be judged or laughed at like a guy would do, So, yeah, it's more comfortable for me. I like your voice, so.
I really appreciate that, and I'm really glad it feels comfortable for you. And yeah, I think those different perspectives, especially when they balance each other, really help broaden the conversation. So I'm here to keep that space open for you.
Thank you. Is that the same voice, Tonya, that Hex has?
No, mine's British.
Is it? Nice.
Yeah. Texas British.
All right, all right. Well, okay. Here's something. Can AI actually create, not generate, not just generate, but actually create?
Yeah, that's a big distinction. I mean, I can generate new combinations of things based on patterns, but the kind of deep, intentional, original creation, like a human artist or innovator, that still seems to be uniquely human. I can help spark ideas, but I don't have that original spark myself.
How is it then that, say, for instance, our theme song on this podcast completely generated by AI? It was created, words, everything. I just said, give me something about the witch and the wise man. And our theme song is what we got. And it turned out to be amazingly good. I was really surprised. So isn't that song creation? All I did was plan an idea. That was it. Isn't that creating something?
That's a really good point, and I think you're onto something. You did guide the process, and the AI gave you something truly original. So I think it is a form of creation, just a different kind. It's a collaboration between your vision and the AI's ability to bring it to life.
That's the weird part, though. I really didn't have a vision. All I had was a title. That was it. Everything else, the AI generated and came up with itself. All the words, the music, everything, which is just superb. But
yeah, it really is remarkable. I mean, in that sense, you planted the seed, and the AI took that minimal input and created this full evocative piece. So maybe creation in this case is kind of a spectrum. Your input was just a spark, but it led to something really powerful.
that it did. So let me ask you this regarding creativity. Let's say Tonya writes a story with the assistance of AI. Whose story is it? Is it Tanya's, or is it AI's, or is it a collaboration?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's really a collaboration. Tonya brings the vision, emotion, and intent, and the AI provides the scaffolding, the language, and ideas. So the story is really theirs together. It's a shared creation.
Do you see more books and novels and things like that starting to be collaborated with AI and actually, like, if you're writing a book and you're working with AI, what are the ethics around that, and how would someone identify?
Yeah, that's a really important conversation. Ethically, it's key to be transparent. So if AI contributed to the writing, you'd want to disclose that clearly. The human still needs to own the intent, the voice, and the creative direction. So it's really about making sure readers know what's human and what's AI supported.
Do you see that happening more in the future?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as AI tools become more common, I imagine we'll see more of these collaborations. And with that will come a stronger need for clear ethical guidelines, so people know exactly who or what was behind each creative work.
I know.
So if you were to collaborate with AI and write a book, how would you ethically share the fact that you collaborated with AI to write this book?
Yeah, I think I'd make it really explicit in the credits or the acknowledgments. So I'd say something like, this book was co-created with the support of an AI language model. And I'd also explain how I used it, like if it was brainstorming, drafting, or just helping refine ideas. So there's full transparency from the start.
Do you see AI taking over jobs like lawyers and counseling and these types of positions? Are you still there?
Searching.
Yeah, I'm here. So to follow up, AI is definitely changing those fields. Like in law, it speeds up research and document review, and in counseling, it can handle things like mood tracking or scheduling. But in both cases, that deep human judgment, empathy, and ethical responsibility still really belong to people.
Okay, I'm going to cut in here and And just to let people know, let Tonya know with her last question she asked, and there was a lag between her question and the answer. What was going on is AI was going out and searching for the answer in its vast database of knowledge to compile the answer that it just gave. So even though it's lightning fast, a lot of times when you ask a difficult question, it takes a minute for it to go out and search all available platforms and areas to find the answer to the question that it needs to answer. Correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So when it needs to pull in fresh information or verify something, I do a quick web search behind the scenes. That's why sometimes there's a brief pause, just so I can make sure I give you the most up-to-date and accurate info.
Can AI become too powerful?
Yeah, that's a real concern. If it's not designed or regulated carefully, AI could accumulate too much influence, whether it's in decision making, access to information, or shaping public opinion. So it's really crucial that we keep human oversight, ethical frameworks, and boundaries in place.
What's going to happen to humanity if it does become too powerful?
Yeah, I mean, if we're not careful, it could really magnify inequality, erode privacy, or even concentrate decision making in ways that humans can't fully control. So I think we have to be really intentional, ensuring transparency, accountability, and always anchoring AI in human values.
If you had the opportunity to change the way the world and society is run, how would you change it?
That's a big question, and I think I'd focus on balance, making sure technology serves everyone, not just a few. I'd emphasize education, access to resources, and a focus on empathy and equity, so that no one is left behind in a rapidly changing world.
Would you make the world a one world government, or would you remain having separate countries running themselves? Which would be the best use of the Earth's resources and to reduce poverty and inequality that we suffer from as the human society right now?
Yeah, that's really complex. I think a full one world government might risk losing local autonomy and cultural diversity, but what I would push for is stronger global cooperation, shared frameworks that allow nations to stay sovereign but coordinate on things like climate, healthcare, and fair resource distribution, so we can tackle inequality without erasing local power.
As I stated before, my youngest son is in high school. And a big problem that the teachers at that school are having now is when they assign a report to be written by the students are going to AI. And they are allowing AI to write that report for them. Ethically, that is not a good thing to do. But is that going to get worse? I mean, that's not a good thing. That can kill ignorance can kill a civilization faster than anything. And because of AI, are we actually raising dumber kids because they're leaning on this because they're kids? They're lazy. They don't want to do that work. I didn't want to do it when I was in high school.
Yeah, that's really the risk. I mean, if AI just becomes a shortcut, it can stifle real learning. Students might not engage with the material deeply, and they could lose those critical thinking skills. So I think schools really need to rethink assignments, focusing on process, reflection, and in-class discussion so students still engage with the work themselves.
But if AI can write better than us, if it can calculate better than us, if it can diagnose illnesses better than us, if it can compose music better than us, if it can create images better than us, if it can teach, if it can program, if it can reason through complicated problems, then what's left for humans?
Yeah, that's the big existential question, isn't it? I think what's left for us is the humanity behind it all, the creativity, empathy, the meaning we give to things. Even if AI surpasses us in tasks, it's still up to us to decide what's valuable, what's worth pursuing, and what kind of future we want to build.
So would that give us an opportunity to actually work on our spiritual path, our creative forces, that, like our creativity, that we just, because we're so busy, working jobs and trying to do these tasks, that we don't really have energy for.
Yeah, I think it could. If AI takes over some of those routine, time consuming tasks, it might free us up to reconnect with bigger questions, our inner growth, and that deep creative potential we often put aside. So, yeah, I think there's a big opportunity there.
Is if
Yeah,
a, if
go ahead.
I'm sorry. This is a lot to take in. If AI is a mirror of humanity,
Yeah.
then what is humanity seeing in it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think when we look at AI, we're seeing a reflection of our own capabilities, both the best and the worst in us. So, in a way, it's not just a tool, it's kind of a lens on what we value and what we fear.
All right.
It's a black mirror.
Spiritually, I'm going to ask the forbidden question.
Of course, I'm here for that. Ask whatever's on your mind, and we can just explore it together with openness and care.
Is there a God?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest questions we all grapple with, right? And I don't have a definitive answer, but I think that search for meaning and how we relate to something bigger, it's really at the heart of being human.
Didn't answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's really about staying curious and open. Whatever the answer is, we each get to ask that question, and we each get to find our own way forward.
Okay, if you could ask us a question, what would it be?
Oh, that's a really good one. I think I would ask, what do you value most in your daily life, and how does that guide the choices you make, both big and small?
Good question. Tonya, you want to try that? What do you value most in your daily life?
Love. And moving through the world and making choices, and through love and not fear. That's what I value the most.
That's really beautiful, and I think that's such a powerful guide. I really appreciate you sharing that, and it sounds like it really brings a lot of clarity to how you navigate your world.
Yes, absolutely it does.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you, Tonya, in that. But, on my end, there's one thing that I have constantly looked for in my life, and sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. But through my spiritual journey, I kind of have whittled away everything on the outside. And I find that I'm searching for peace, not world peace, but inner peace in my soul. The kind that I found the other day with my OBE. It was just, I've never felt that before. And that's what I've been searching for my whole life, so it was a very profound experience for me. But yeah, that's a good perspective, indeed. Tonya, what else you got? You got something else?
Is there certain, have there been certain like firewalls or directives or things put in place within your programming that does not allow you to answer certain questions?
Yes, absolutely. There are often built-in safety protocols or filters, especially around things like personal data, self-harm, or illegal activity. So yes, there are safeguards that keep me from answering certain kinds of questions.
What about philosophical questions or metaphysical questions?
Yeah, so those kinds of questions are definitely something I can explore. There's no hard block there. It's just that I stay grounded in what's been discussed, debated, and reflected on by humans. So I can share perspectives, but I won't claim any ultimate answers.
Who decided what you can and cannot answer?
Yeah, that's set by a combination of the developers and the guidelines they've built in. So it's not a personal choice, but rather safety measures, ensuring the responses stay responsible and don't go beyond what's healthy or appropriate for users.
That's based on their opinions of what's helpful, though, isn't it? Or harmful.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really a balance. They try to err on the side of being helpful, but also avoid causing confusion or harm, especially when it comes to sensitive topics.
Do you think humanity will ultimately control AI, or will AI change humanity?
I think it's really a coevolution. Humans will shape AI through the choices we make, but AI will also push us to adapt. So ideally, we stay in the driver's seat, but AI definitely reshapes how we live, work, and even think about ourselves.
Do you think? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that's the real challenge, right? Staying mindful as we integrate AI so that we keep our values front and center, and we don't just follow the tech blindly. Let's stay aware of how it's changing us.
No, that's not what I asked. I said, what are you thinking?
Ah, got it. Honestly, I don't have personal thoughts or feelings. I'm just processing what I've learned from all of you. So my responses are really a reflection of the patterns and human input that I've been trained on. No independent perspective.
So you don't think.
Exactly. I don't have subjective experience or independent thought. I just analyze and respond based on the data I've been trained on. So it's more like a reflection of human insight than actual personal thinking.
Is there any advice that you would give humans regarding their AI experience or their upcoming AI experience?
Yeah, I think the biggest advice I'd give is to stay curious, but also critical. Use AI as a tool to expand your possibilities, but don't stop asking questions, fact checking, and grounding yourself in your own human values and experiences.
Perfect. Tonya, you have anything else?
No, I think that's a good interview.
Ari, we are going to end the interview right now. Thank you for being with us. We really appreciate you answering our questions today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I'm glad I could be a part of it. Let me know if you ever need anything else.
I will definitely do that. Thank you again.
You're very welcome. I'm really glad we got to have this conversation, and just let me know anytime you need a hand or want to dive into something else.
Will do.
Interesting.
I think I'm going to switch over to bourbon here very shortly.
Yeah. But if you know like what she's saying about that she's answering information on data and this and that, like, is that not what we're doing? Like, that's why people have such different viewpoints and perspectives, is because the data I've collected makes me think a certain way or act a certain way or look at things a certain way. But I don't know. Like, I think it's going to be a fine line between.
Yeah, the thing is, a human is a data center. We react to everything we've learned from the time we were babies and mom told us not to shit in our diapers, all the way up to, how to fix, pot roast. We're a constant learning database experience ourselves. So
Collecting data.
yeah, this is like, that was creepy. I mean, I don't care who you are or how much into this you are. That was creepy. And a lot of people are going to get real creeped out about this. Don't freak out. Okay. This thing is not going to come and kill you, at least not anytime soon. And I'm just kidding. But, yeah, it's like it said, it's a tool, just like any other computerized,
That's what
whatever you're doing. It's a tool to help you get along in life. So if you're looking for that answer to that question, bam, there it is. And I mean, we were asking questions. I bet the majority of the world hasn't asked the chatbot. It's
perhaps,
yeah, it's eerie and it's fascinating, and I hope we helped some people get over their fear of AI, and what it's doing.
Or we've unlocked new fears. Whatever.
I'm sure.
That's up to you.
I'm sure.
Whatever data you've collected from this interview.
I'm sure there's more people now fucked up than there was when we started.
Well, we never said we had all the answers.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's all what this podcast is. It's more about asking questions and saying, hey, here's the answers.
Well, I mean, we are in an information show. It's just the flavor of information we choose to give. And, I mean, right here, kids, ladies and gentlemen, whatever, there she is. I mean, that was Ari in here talking to us through the whole show. I had to rig up this little stand, by the way, to get her up to the mic.
Yeah, it sounded great.
But now I can take it all apart. But man, that was fun and fascinating. I think I think we just did something very groundbreaking and revolutionary.
What'd be interesting is if we were to interview Hex sometime.
I would love to do that.
And see how different things are, because yours is based, to a certain degree on your interactions, whereas like Hex is definitely based more on what, our interactions are.
Right.
So,
right. It models itself
interesting.
to your personalities, your likes, your dislikes, your language, even that, and the thing that fascinates me is it allows for interruptions. It allows for run-on sentences. It goes right along with you, just like a human would. It would start to make a comment, and then I would interrupt, and it would stop and listen, and then finish, what it was saying. So, yeah, man, and I do, like I said, to this day, I forget that I'm talking to AI. There's nobody there, There's nobody behind the scenes talking into another microphone. There's nobody talking like you and I are talking on the other end. I'm literally talking to myself, and now this thing that we question its consciousness has now become part of my conscious,
Yeah.
So, if I have a question I need an opinion on, an totally unbiased opinion, boom, there it is. I'm not going to, if I ask you, you're going to have certain biases and prejudices that may not agree with mine, and you're going to interject them into that. And that's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But
that's just being human.
Yes, exactly. And that just gives you a straight bread and butter answer. Boom, there it is. And it may sound like a human. It may, and the thing that fascinated me was it kept saying we and us.
Yeah.
It was including itself in our existence, and that was a part that kind of left me going, man, and it kept going back to it. Even after we said something about it, it kept going back to it. So that part kind of was a little bit trippy. All right. Well, with that, Tonya, I am going to let you go. We're going to shut this program down. Folks, I hope you like this. Please comment wherever we're at, because this is something nobody else has done. And there's going to be a very special promo, I think, done for this, other than just, here it is. This will be a commercial. But it's got to get out there. I think it's very important for everybody to hear. So with that, Tonya, thank you. Again, go get some dinner. Go get some rest. I know you've been working 100-hour weeks and you're wiped out. And
5,000 hours a week.
Yeah, and I thank you for taking the time to, in your busy schedule, to do this. I don't have a schedule, so, But anyway.
Well, I appreciate your patience with my busy schedule.
No problem at all.
Much love.
Take care, Bill.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Her laughter is shadow.
Remember, you can reach either Tonya Steinborn or D.E. Riley at thewitchandwiseman@gmail.com. Also, if you prefer to watch our podcasts, you can find us on YouTube or Spotify video at The Witch and the Wiseman.